Well, when you're in public, there is always a chance that you might encounter someone who collapses or goes through a medical emergency. Now, in those very important moments, CPR and basic first aid can make a big difference in terms of their survival. Now, of course, we need to know the basics, especially if we're out there and we need to administer CPR. So joining us right now is first aid instructor Marla Feinstein from St.JohnAmbulance, York Region. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming in, because this is such an important skill, a skill that unfortunately I didn't learn until I started teaching fitness classes, and then I finally learned how to do it. But before we get to CPR, let's talk about the basic first aid kit, something that everyone needs to have.
Absolutely. Everybody needs a first aid kit. And there's different kinds of first aid kits, vehicle first aid kit, home, sport, and so on. And in it, there's equipment that we need. So if we ever have to do first aid or CPR, we're prepared. The equipment is in that. We just have to pick up and go. We don't have to go to one cupboard for the scissors, one for the antiseptic wipe, one for the bandage. It's all there. Just pick it up and go.
And it's important to have it also in your car as well. Yeah. You know, we've had a mild winter, but there's always situations when you might need it.
Very much so.
All right, so talking about CPR, you look at the stats, and they're very shocking. They're very surprising that for folks who deal with cardiac arrest, only 20% have someone administer CPR on them. Why is that stat so low, and why do we need to collectively do better?
We need to, as a community, as society, we need to take a CPR first aid class. The stats are very low. So first, if I can go back a bit to explain what cardiac arrest is versus heart attack. A heart attack happens when the heart is failing but still functioning. But cardiac arrest, their heart has actually failed. So we do CPR on somebody in cardiac arrest, not on somebody with a heart attack. And when somebody is in cardiac arrest, the oxygenated blood supply slows down to the brain. And once we hit that 4-minute mark, the brain will start to die. So every minute counts. We need to identify the situation. We need to start CPR. We need to call 911. Immediately. And unfortunately, there's not enough people trained. There's not enough people stepping forward. There's not enough people having the confidence to do it or know what to do. So as a community, as a society, we need to take that course so we can jump into action when needed. We need to get that survival rate up.
Well, in those situations too, you know, you could be at home, you could be in public, it could be a family member, it could be a stranger, it could be a coworker. It's so important to know how to administer CPR. Now, of course, we can't give a comprehensive instruction because we don't have that much time on the show, but let's talk about some of the basics. We have a couple of, do they have names?
Helen.
Helen. Manny 1 and Manny 2. Okay, so take me through what is important in terms of administering CPR.
Okay, so first we find somebody that appears to be unresponsive. We want to tap them on the shoulder. Maybe they're sleeping, but determine that responsiveness. Of course, we need to make sure the environment is safe. If we find that they're unresponsive, we want to determine breathing. So we want to put our ear down to the mouth and nose, do that head tilt chin lift, and try to feel for the breath and watch the rise and the fall of that chest and stomach. Are they breathing? If they're not breathing, we need to start CPR. Okay. So to start CPR, we want to put the heel of our hand right in the middle of their chest. The other hand on top. We want to lock our arms, our upper body over the chest, pivot at the hips, use the weight of our upper body to come crashing down on that chest. And we're going to do 30 compressions, and then we're going to provide 2 breaths. Okay. So let's do our 30 compressions. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The rate of these compressions are 100 to 120 beats per minute. We have to make sure we're not too fast and not too slow. So what we could do is sing the song Staying Alive, or we can simply count out loud. 29, 30. Then we're going to provide that breath. Do that head tilt chin lift. And provide that breath. We're going to use our barrier device, and we're going to provide that breath. Just enough breath for that chest to move, with about 3 to 5 seconds in between. And then we're going to go back to those compressions. And we continue the 30 compressions to the 2 breaths until EMS comes on scene or the AED arrives. So once the AED arrives, we're going to open it up. This is an automatic external defibrillator, and there's a set of pads. And the pad placement is right shoulder, left chest. So on a bare chest, we take the backing off, put the pads on right shoulder, left chest, and we plug it in and turn it on. And we simply follow the voice prompts. It's very user-friendly. So just turn the AED on, stand clear.
Yeah, and then it'll guide you through that.
It will guide us right through it.
So Marla, you know, that's all we have in terms for time, but thank you so much for taking us through this. Such important skills. If people want to learn more and to take these courses, where can they go?
Go to www.sja.ca, and on there will be more information about classes and any products that you might need.
Amazing. So we have the website on right there as well. And also, by the way, we're also giving away a first aid kit courtesy of St. John Ambulance. So if you want a chance to win this, just go to Global News Morning TO at globalnews.ca. So of course, so important, of course, to have first aid kits like this around the house, at work, in your car as well. Marla Feinstein, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right.